Welcome into the era of AI. Hello and welcome. In this lecture, I will introduce you to the 6 ChatGPT prompt engineering strategies for getting better results, as well as the ChatGPT extensions, which the first one is the AIPRM extension that gives you access to about 4,800 plus prompts. Plus, if you have the AIPRM Pro membership, it allows you to actually switch between the languages. And not just that, it allows you also, I think allowing you to switch between the languages is for free. But the only reason why I purchase it or I spend $20 extra on it every month is because of the simple fact that it allows me to switch tones and writing styles. More on that later. But there's another extension which is called ChatGPT for YouTube. This extension can transcribe an entire video. So imagine you can take a 6-hour podcast and transcribe it with this extension. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So first thing is first, let's start with the prompt engineering strategies according to OpenAI, which you can easily find them by going to Google and then simply searching for 6 prompt engineering strategies, right? So 6 prompt engineering strategies. The link by OpenAI is the good one. And here you'll basically get everything you need to understand about why these are important when you're phrasing your prompts. So the first strategy is writing clear instructions. When I say clear instructions, you have to make sure you include details in your query. When I say generate an AI Hollywood movie script about Titans, that's not a detailed instruction, isn't it? Because I just said AI movie script about Titans. I didn't mention how much time, which means the duration. I didn't mention if there is any characters in that movie, the names of these characters. I didn't mention where. I didn't mention details. I didn't mention who's the hero. I didn't mention the plots and schemes, and I mentioned nothing there. So I just added a prompt. It's a vague prompt, which leaves ChatGPT a lot of space to fill with its imagination, or we should say with its information. So make sure that if you want to get a response that you like, that you add as much data as it would be necessary. Ask the model to adopt a persona. Remember, when I was talking to ChatGPT on the phone, I said to it to generate an AI script for a Hollywood movie, but at the same time, I said adopt the persona of Quentin Tarantino. So you can adopt the persona of Quentin Tarantino, quite frankly, adopt the persona of anyone. If you want to create a campaign, a marketing campaign, it would honestly be great if you adopt the persona of Gary Vee, The Rock, and all of these great marketers, right? Use delimiters. When I say use delimiters, make sure you limit your prompt. So when you say generate an AI movie script, here, there is no limit to, first of all, the duration, how many minutes. When you set a limit to the minutes, when you also set a limit to certain things, then ChatGPT is going to set a limit as well. If you don't set a limit, for example, if I say, write a book about the vegan diet or write a book outline about vegan diet, right? In this case, it's going to generate an outline, sure enough, but because I didn't specify how many chapters, how many subchapters, it's going to write everything it wants. I left it to use its own imagination. So don't leave it to its imagination. Make sure you limit it by giving the limiters specify the steps required to complete a task. For example, when writing a book, you might start by saying write an outline. After it writes an outline, you can say, well, now that you have the outline written, here's what I want you to do. We're going to take it step by step. And I want you right now to generate the first book's chapter. And you can say to it, well, after we generate the first book's chapter, I want you to ask me if I say yes, for you to go ahead and proceed to generate the second chapter. So pretty much all of these things are very important to quote at the very beginning. Provide examples is incredibly important. For example, if you want to generate an image, and it might be that you're struggling to describe that image perfectly, we'll be better off to provide it with that image itself and ask it, well, generate something similar in the same style. Of course, you have to pay careful attention to copyright. Now, ChatGPT is already protected against copyright because if there's anything copyrighted, it's going to refuse to cooperate with you. But in any case, you can always ask it to, you can find workarounds. That's what I'm trying to say. So if it says copyright, you can say, well, I didn't necessarily ask you to generate an image that looks exactly like that. I just want you to take inspiration. And that changes the whole thing. Now, specify the desired length of the output. Of course, we already said that. When you say write a script for a video, it's not like saying write a script for a 5-minute video. That's specificity. That's very detailed. Provide reference text. So for example, I'm working on a channel right now, which I'm not going to talk about what the channel is doing. It's a taboo subject that I'm trying to cure, that not many people would like to talk about. It's a problem in our society that many people don't like to talk about in this world of course, political correctness. But I took it upon myself to create that AI channel, and I'm creating it now. I'm really having a lot of fun doing so. And I've taken, in order to create that channel, I've studied about 3 books, to be precise, 3 books. Those 3 are scientific books, and basically they have a lot of science, about neuroscience, about all of that. And of course, I don't have time to sit there and tell ChatGPT, I've read this book and it has this and it says this about the dopamine system and this is about the endorphins, and I don't have time to explain to it what serotonin is, what all of that stuff is. So I took the books, I plugged them into ChatGPT by uploading them, and I said, learn these books. That's all. I said, learn these books because I'm going to use the knowledge from these books in the future. And by providing it that, now it's easy for me because I can just do whatever I want. I can say, well, I want to create a 5-minute video based on what you learned from the book, create X video about X topic. And it goes and does that for me. Now here, split complex tasks into simpler subtasks. This is very important, especially if it's a large task, such as writing a book or creating something large as a project. Don't try to do it in one prompt. Just separate it. Do it slowly but surely, one step at a time. With we call it chain of thought prompting. Prompt more than once and until you get the result. Now give the model time to think. So many times you might pause the model. Never pause the model unless you want to change your prompt itself, the initial prompt. Leave the model time to think, and then when it generates the first response, you can rebuttal back, and you can actually say what you want to say. If you don't like the response, you can say, I didn't like that response. That was not what I was looking for. Here's what you should do. Use external tools. Well, I'm not going to talk about APIs. Test changes systematically. That's very important. You need to test changes systematically. Every time you get a response, evaluate that response. If you like it, say yes. If you didn't like it, say no and why. And ChatGPT will go ahead and reiterate. Now let me introduce you to AIPRM, the extension that I talked about. So if you go and look for AIPRM extension, this is the extension I'm discussing. Please, I want you to be extra careful. Do not trust any other website, even AIPRM.com. Trust only the Chrome web store, right? And even then, there still could be some risks. That's why I have an antivirus. But hey, you don't have to install this extension if you're afraid that maybe it's going to cause you some issues. It's installed by 2 million people, 2,400 ratings. Not many people have reviewed this as with any other extension. So I'm going to add this extension. What this does, it gives you access to about 4,800 plus prompts, which is a whole wide library of prompts. To be honest with you, it's a huge library. And it can make your life easier. Now I'm going to enable AIPRM. I'm going to allow. Okay. And it's going to direct me to ChatGPT. And then from there, I can show you what this AIPRM extension actually does. So you see here that this is the ChatGPT interface. It's still nothing changed with it, right? But just wait a second. It's still loading. So in a second, it's going to transform entirely to a whole new setting. Notice, watch that. So here you can see that we have access now to 4,884 prompts. And these prompts, they can do a whole set of things. So if you are into writing blog posts and you don't want to, every time you don't want to say, well, I want to write a blog post about, or program it to know that you're writing a blog post, you can come here and click on this prompt. For example, this is a prompt that can write a human-written, 100% unique SEO-optimized article. It has been used 13 million times. So that's a lot of people that have used it. You can come over here and say, enter the keyword of what you want it to talk about. So you can say Kong versus Godzilla, for example. It's a movie that I like a lot. So here, for better results, and you can see it's starting to write a blog about Kong, or article about Kong versus Godzilla, the Ultimate Showdown. Here, you can see if I scroll down, it's going to start generating the outline, and then it's going to move directly to generating the text. But this is not the only prompt that there is. There's, like I said, 4,800 plus prompts, give or take, and has been consistent. And prompts are getting added every time, or so it's gonna keep evolving. And you can see here the article, right? So, introduction: the epic clash between King Kong and Godzilla is a cinematic event that has thrilled audiences for decades, and so on and so forth. And I can actually pause this for a second and always click here to go back to a new chat and explore the rest of the prompts, which I'll leave you to go ahead and do by yourself. There's a lot of prompts here for me to cover, but you can go ahead and explore all of these prompts. A lot of them are very useful, and they can do a lot of useful stuff. Many of these can actually make you money. Now that we talked about this extension, there's another extension which is called ChatGPT for YouTube. Now, this one I already have installed it, but I'm going to show you if you can search. Like I said, trust nothing but the Chrome Web Store. By the way, let me show you the dangers. So I have McAfee antivirus. I know how a lot of people feel about antiviruses, but let me tell you, an antivirus is better than not having an antivirus. But here's the thing. If I click on this second link here, the antivirus is immediately going to, well, in this case, it's going to flag this link. So you can see here it says, website status suspicious. This site looks like a little risky, so we flagged it just in case. Make sure you trust this site if you choose to proceed, and so on and so forth. So you can see that if it's not a trustworthy website, antivirus will really act very well. Now, the one that I have, or the extension that I have, is this one, ChatGPT for YouTube. There's also another one, but I have this one. It's installed by 100,000 people, and I already added it to Chrome. Here is how you can use it. Now, here, if you go to YouTube, well, we can take a video like this Joe Rogan podcast video extract, and we can click. So, for instance, I can actually go ahead over here and remove the sound, and you can see this is how this looks. So if I scroll down, now this is an ad, which I'm sick and tired of watching ads. I don't know if this is true for you as well, but YouTube have been showing us a lot of ads lately. It's not YouTube anymore. It's the Ad Hub. Now here, ChatGPT for YouTube is the extension I'm talking about, and it can summarize the entire video by clicking here, or you can take the entire transcript of everything that was said in the entire video. Doesn't matter if it's a 10-hour podcast, 6-hour podcast. If you click copy the transcript, you can go to a document and actually go ahead and place this in. And there it is. It's the script for the entire video. Everything that was said by these guys in that podcast, in that 7 minutes, everything that was said, including the title and the link to the video, are here. And this is something that you can use in case you want to start using this to generate YouTube shorts and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things you can do with this. Now, at any point in time, if you want to deactivate your extensions, just come over here. For example, if you want to deactivate AIPRM, you can deactivate it. But I still didn't show you everything about AIPRM, and my bad, because I'm going to show you right now. So let me actually just refresh my page. So for instance, if I want to switch the language of the output meaning the response. Let's say you want to give prompts in English, and you want to get responses in Arabic. Because I talk Arabic, I'm going to actually be the judge here to how good this is. So for instance, where is Arabic? Arabic. I'm not sure if it's here. Yep, there it is. So let's say, for example, that you want to sell a watch as a gift to housewives that they can give as a gift to their husbands. So I'm going to say, I want to create a landing page to sell a watch that housewives can give as a free gift to their husbands. All right, husbands in the Gulf countries. All right, let's say you're doing e-commerce in the Gulf countries, and I can say generate landing page sales copy. Now, I didn't give it the product. I just want to show you a dummy example. And have a look at this. So this is Arabic. It's clearly good. I can honestly tell you, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, this is amazing, right? So, and you can see the responses in Arabic. It's not even in English. And you can see that it has generated the content for the entire landing page, right? Everything. So pretty much, this is really incredible. And without AIPRM, you'll not have access to switch the language from here of the output, by the way. So you can switch the language to any language you want, French, English, whatever it is that you want. I'll go back to English, and that's it. You can also use the tones. So these tones are really incredible. Default, authoritative, clinical, cold, confident, cynical, emotional, da 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 da. So I can actually be emotional. I can be expository, creative, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it. So this was it about ChatGPT. Let's move quickly and let me show you another tool. This one is called Leonardo AI.